Kedoshim, on a leap year, first reading, Abraham, Chesed. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, Be holy, because I, the Lord your God, am holy. Each of you must honor his mother and father, and you must keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols or make gods of cast metal for yourselves. I am the Lord your God. And when you offer a sacrifice of a fellowship offering to the Lord, offer it in such a way that it will be accepted on your behalf. It shall be eaten on the day you offer it, and on the next day. Anything left over until the third day must be burned up. And if any of it is eaten on the third day, it is an abomination and will not be accepted. Whoever eats it will be held responsible because he has desecrated what is holy to the Lord, and that soul will be cut off from his people. And when you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. And do not go over your vineyard a second time or pick up the fruit of your vineyard that have fallen. You shall leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am the Lord your God. You shall not steal, neither shall you deal falsely nor lie to one another. And you shall not swear falsely by my name, and so profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not oppress your neighbor or rob him, and not hold back the wages of a hired servant overnight. You shall not curse the deaf, or put a stumbling block in front of the blind, but fear your God. I am the Lord. Kedoshim, on a leap year, second reading, Isaac, Gevurah. When connected, fifth reading, Aaron, Hod. You shall not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. You shall not go about spreading slander among your people, nor shall you do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor frankly, so you will not share in his guilt. You shall not seek revenge or bear a grudge against one of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. You shall keep my statutes. You shall not mate your cattle with different kinds of animals. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed, nor shall you wear clothing woven of two kinds of material mingled together. And if a man sleeps with a woman who is a bondmaid promised to another man, but who has not been redeemed or given her freedom, there shall be inquisition, yet they are not to be put to death, because she had not been freed. And he must bring his forfeit to the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting, a ram for a guilt offering, and the priest will make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering before the Lord for the sin he has committed, and he shall be forgiven for his sin which he has committed. Kedoshim, on a leap year, third reading, Jacob, Tiferet. And when you will enter the land and plant all kinds of fruit trees for food, regard its fruit as forbidden. For 3 years you are to consider it forbidden. It must not be eaten. In the 4th year all its fruit will be holy, an offering of praise to the Lord. But in the 5th year you may eat its fruit, that your harvest will be increased. I am the Lord your God. You shall not eat anything with blood in it, nor shall you practice divination or sorcery. You shall not cut the hair at the sides of your head, or clip off the edges of your beard. You shall not cut your bodies for the dead, or put tattoo marks on yourselves. I am the Lord. Do not profane your daughter by making her a prostitute. lest the land turn to prostitution and be filled with lewdness. You shall keep my Sabbaths, and have reverence for my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to ghosts or seek out familiar spirits, to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. You shall rise in the presence of the aged, and show honor for the elderly, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. Kedoshim. On a leap year, fourth reading, Moses, Netzach. When connected, sixth reading, Joseph, Yesod. And if a stranger lives with you in your land, you shall not mistreat him. The stranger living with you must be treated as if he is a citizen, and you shall love him as you would yourself. For you used to be strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You shall not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or quantity. Use honest scales and honest weights, an honest ephah and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt. And you shall observe all my statutes and all my ordinances, and follow them. I am the Lord. Kedoshim. On a leap year, fifth reading, Aaron, Hod. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Say to the children of Israel, any Israelite or any stranger living in Israel who gives any of his children to Molech must be put to death. The people of the land are to stone him with stones. I will also set my face against that man, and I will cut him off from his people. For by giving his children to Molech, he has defiled my sanctuary and profaned my holy name. And if the people of the land close their eyes from that man when he gives one of his children to Molech, and they fail to put him to death, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut off him and all that follow after him to go astray after Molech from their people. And the soul who turns to ghosts and to the familiar spirits to go astray by following them, I will set my face against that soul, and I will cut him off from his people. Therefore sanctify yourselves and be holy, because I am the Lord your God. Kedoshim. On a leap year, sixth reading, Joseph, Yesod. When connected, seventh reading, David, Malchut. And keep my statutes and follow them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. If anyone curses his father or mother, he shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother. His blood will be on his own head. And if a man commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And if a man sleeps with his father's wife, he has uncovered his father's nakedness, and both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. And if a man sleeps with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought corruption. Their blood will be on their own heads. And if a man lies with a man as one lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. And if a man takes with his wife also her mother, it is wicked. Both he and they shall be burned with fire, so that no wickedness will be among you. And if a man lies with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and you must kill the beast. And if a woman approaches a beast to lie down with it, kill both the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. And if a man shall take his sister, the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother, and see her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, It is a shameful thing, and they shall be cut off before the eyes of the children of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, and will bear his iniquity. And if a man lies with a woman during her monthly period, and shall uncover her nakedness, he has exposed the source of her flow, and she has also uncovered the source of her flow. Both of them must be cut off from their people. And you shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, or of your father's sister, for that would dishonor a close relative. They shall bear their iniquity. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he has dishonored his uncle. They shall bear their sin. They will die childless. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is impurity. He has dishonored his brother. They will be childless. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my ordinances, and follow them, so that the land where I am bringing you to live does not vomit you out. Kedoshim, on a leap year, 7th reading, David, Malchut. And you must not live according to the customs of the nation I am going to drive out before you. For they did all these things, and I abhorred them. But have I said to you, you will inherit their land. I will give it to you to possess it, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has set you apart from the nations. Kedoshim, Maftir. You must therefore make a distinction between clean and unclean animals, and between unclean and clean birds, and do not defile yourselves by any animal or bird, or anything that moves along the ground, which I have set apart as unclean for you. And you shall be holy to me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and I have set you apart from the nations that you should be mine. A man or woman who divines by ghosts or familiar spirits shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood will be on their own heads. Haftarah of Kedoshim, Ezekiel 20:2-20. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, speak to the elders of Israel, and say to them, Thus says the Lord God, Have you come to inquire of me? As I live, says the Lord God, I will not be inquired of by you. Will you judge them, Son of man? Will you judge them? Cause them to know the abominations of their fathers, and say to them, Thus says the Lord God, On the day I chose Israel, and I lifted my hand to the seed of the house of Jacob, and revealed myself to them in the land of Egypt, when I lifted my hand to them, saying, I am the Lord your God. On that day I lifted my hand to them, to bring them forth out of Egypt, into a land I had sought out for them, flowing with milk and honey, the most beautiful of all lands. And I said to them, Cast you away every man the detestable things of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. But they rebelled against me, and would not hearken unto me. They did not, every man, get rid of the detestable things of their eyes, nor did they forsake the idols of Egypt. And then I said I would pour out my fury on them, and spend my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations among who they were, in whose sight I made myself known to them, so as to bring them forth out of the land of Egypt. So I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt, and brought them into the wilderness. And I gave them my statutes, and taught them my ordinances, which if a man does, he shall live by them. Moreover, Also I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they may know that I am the Lord that sanctifies them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my statutes, and they rejected my ordinances, which if a man does, he shall live by them. And my Sabbaths they greatly profaned. Then I said I would pour out my fury on them in the wilderness to consume them. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations, in whose sight I had brought them out. Yet also I lifted my hand to them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, most beautiful of all lands, because they rejected my ordinances, and did not walk in my statutes, and profaned my Sabbaths, for their hearts were after their idols. Nevertheless, mine eye spared them from destroying them, nor did I put an end to them in the desert. And I said to their children in the desert, do not walk in the statutes of your fathers, nor observe their ordinances, or defile yourselves with their idols. I am the Lord your God. Walk in my statutes, and keep my ordinances, and do them, and keep my Sabbaths holy, that they may be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I am the Lord your God.